All right, guys, back to it. I just had to change out the tip. The other one was getting a little dull. Geometry was off by a little bit, so, and I wanted a smaller one just to be able to see what I'm doing. So we are back at it. Again, this is a hand engraving on a piece of steel. We're going to say it's an imitation slide for YouTube policy. Man, I'm pretty sure I just chipped this thing right off the rip. Yep, sure did. Okay, refixing it. That's part of the problem with these really hard steels. So you tend to chip. You tend to chip pretty easily, and sometimes it's just a matter of sometimes I'll put a little bit more robust heel. And then the face, I try and put a little bull nose at the front. Hopefully that'll take care of that. Blocking Gambio, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it, guys. So Ramirez, I'm not too far from you then. I'm here in Southeast Idaho as well, so glad to have somebody else who's around the area. You guys can see I just chipped it again right there. There's a visible chip. As soon as that happens, we've got to fix that. If you don't fix that, you could run into some serious errors later, or even more of a catastrophic failure in your graver right here. So again, I've got a diamond wheel over here, a diamond polishing wheel. This usually works pretty good to fix most mistakes, but sometimes I need to go more aggressive with it. Well, I'm going to look at it under the microscope real fast, see what we can kind of come up with. If I can fix it here, I will. Yeah, it's a pretty bad chip. All right, it is fixed now, so there's no visible chip. We're good to go. Garrett Spiel, awesome. Well, that's why I'm doing this. So I no longer take on private commissions or anything like that, just for the reason that I want to do what I want, teach people what I want, and then hopefully inspire some to actually take up the art as well. It's not an easy art by any means. There's a lot of craftsman skill that goes into this. So be patient with it. It takes time, but in the end, I think it's well worth it. To give you an idea, I started with laser, and laser was not tickling my fancy. It's just, to me, it didn't feel like art. So I stopped doing well, I don't stop doing laser, but I really don't do laser stuff anymore. I use it as a tool rather than as a end-all be-all. to Gabe. You're right on the dot, my friend. All right, I'm going to recenter this job so I can get a little bit better picture view. So we've got our ball vise right here. This is what allows me to basically aim wherever I'm going. And then everything else is just a matter of controlling. As if you notice, when I'm engraving, I'm pushing my pedal, so that controls this, controls the hammer. And then my left hand controls where the scraver's going. And then my right hand controls the angles and the depth. So that's all I do is angles and depth. And then at the end, you'll see me usually get to an end and then flick it up. And that's usually because if you want a clean break, you've got to put pressure and then pop it up. You can't drive forward though, because if you drive forward, you end up usually scratching or going further with the engraving rather than stopping and then pulling up. So that's one of the hardest things probably to get when it comes to engraving. Donald Gerardo, Donald Gerard, you can. They're functional. At the end of the day, when everything's done, said and done, everything will be functional. But yeah, this is an art. This is not something that, you take it up all the time. This is it's a piece of art. That's what I'm doing it for. And that's what I want people to appreciate it as, is art. Hub City, best material to start on? Copper. Copper, hands down. Get yourself some copper plates like these right here, or some copper sheeting. And you can basically hand push on copper all day long, and you don't have to have a power graver or anything. It can just be hand push. So that's the best way to start, I think. All we're doing right now, guys, is just shading. So one of the things with shading is just showing the depth of scroll work is huge. Like what's going over, what's going under, where's the light coming from. PD Hine, I ain't that good. I've always wondered how secretive those engravers have to keep their status. Because can you imagine if they get out there and they're actually printing plates, fake plates out there? They've got it. They've got to get paid really well. Like I just can't imagine they're not paid top dollar. All right, we're definitely sharpening this. Something's I can feel my graver is off by just a little bit. So usually that's a feel thing, and then you can start checking your tip, and it looks like there's no major chips, but it does look like it's just getting dull, and so It's just always good to resharpen. Weston, as far as lasers go, yeah, laser engraving has its place. It's just not in the fine gun world, honestly. You can get pretty close with certain lasers, high end lasers. I've got a laser; it does pretty good job, but you just can't get that. You see that bright cut, those angles and stuff like that. The only way to get it is through a mechanical tip, so hand engraving, or potentially if you have like a really good CNC bit, maybe you can come kind of close. But at the same time, hand engraving also, there's something about looking at a piece and still seeing small, tiny human error, but still seeing how beautiful it is. So that's kind of where AI and laser and CNC kind of fails. It's just kind of a culmination of everything to create a masterpiece at the end. And that's why I really like hand engraving. I got away from laser for the most part, other than I use it to etch my designs that I draw out sometimes. But that's about it now at this point. Sometimes if I need to do something really, really fast for somebody as a favor, I'll do it just because I have it. But yeah. Tactist, I mean, you don't know what you don't know. So, when I first started hand engraving, I thought my hand engraving was awesome. And I'd look at it, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm doing great. I wasn't doing great. I'll tell you right now, I was not. So it goes back to the same thing. You just don't know what you don't know. If you see something that's engraved, your brain doesn't know what to look for. So it just looks engraved. And so you think that's the same as every other engraving. It's not. It really isn't. As far as tool guys goes, this is the Steve Lindsay Air Graver. Sorry, I'll get back to it. I'm gonna trying to get as far as I can this morning before I've got to go do some stuff. So I've got to take off here shortly. So I'm gonna try to get a little bit more done. If you guys haven't already subscribed, please feel free to subscribe. It really does help out. Hit that like button. Share this with some of your friends that maybe you're looking to get into this art form with. Now, going back to like why hand engraver over laser engraved, there's a reason why they're using hand engravers over laser engraving for like you know plate makers for like money. Is the tiny little errors, the tiny everything make a piece, and laser engraving is just pretty much going to do all the same all around. You can probably try to add some flavor, as I would call it, but still, at the end of the day, human error is human error is human error, and that makes those plates that much more unique. It just shockingly, yeah. I mean, yeah, and so yeah. I mean, I agree with you on that. One of the things with MOPA that I can't that can do that I can't do on here that I actually use it as a tool is if I want to say this is stainless steel. If I want to change the color on this, I can do that with a MOPA, which would be awesome, right? So I just make the design, make sure it's framed right, and then let the laser anneal the steel as needed. That's one way to use it. But yeah, it's a tool for hand engravers. I know some hand engravers that like look at it like a disease touching a laser, but it really isn't. It's another tool that you can add to your arsenal and be that much better of a hand engraver and artist. And granted, with laser, there's a market for laser engraved gun like firearms and stuff. So there's a market, but it's definitely a lower tiered market. You're going for volume. In a business sense, you're going for volume versus quality, and I guess, and I say quality in the fact of like compared to hand engraving, like it's still good quality. It's just not what art collectors are looking for. So you're not going to make art collector prices. But you can do a lot of volume. So perhaps that's what you want to do. Best in seven. It depends. I mean, AI does really good with designs now. Like it does decent with designs. So if you're just looking to like push volume, you can use AI, push volume, and just get like put in, put out real quick, and get everything going. So yeah, I mean, it can be a lot faster. But again, you're not really paying for an art piece at that point. You're just paying for a manufactured piece. And I think people really don't admire that as much by any means. At least in the market that I would like to be in. If you're showing your buddy and stuff, like they're all gonna be like, "Wow, that's awesome." But let's face it, if you have one of those pieces versus like one of like this, you yourself are just be like, "Yeah, cool." And I know this because I have them. I have a couple laser finished pieces that I did for me, and people think they're really cool looking. I'm like, I'm not really impressed with them by any means. Vedran Lebo, yes, I do a little bit of woodwork, more so for like the grips for stuff, stocks. Um, and I'm not great at woodwork by any means. So like, I definitely am better at engraving than I am at woodwork. Dang, we were almost able to get done. I do have to take off, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow early morning. I usually try to get on around 4 a.m. and engrave for 3 hours or so. So yeah, guys. Until next time, I appreciate you guys following, subscribing. Until next time, Tio Lalo's out. Peace.